Even if you are aware or not, your brand leaves an experience to your customers. The way your clients interact with you, talk about you, engage with you, and value your business and services is based on the brand experience that they got. Good news is that Dino H Carter, brand expert, is here today to share his experience with you and help you create a remarkable brand experience that engages your current clients and attract new ones. Dino is the founder and owner of D Branding, a consultancy firm based in California. He is an experienced brand expert and has helped clients from many industries. He confessed to me that what he likes more about his job is to help business owners to get excited again with their businesses. And today you will get all that advice for free. We talked about the beauty of using storytelling and content marketing to build a business with your unique values that stand out from your competitors, and how many businesses make the same mistake of not having a customer-centric brand strategy, and how you can solve this problem. You will find this and much more in today's episode interview, so get ready to take notes about the great tips and strategies that Dino is sharing with you today. And remember, if you enjoy the show, you can leave a 5-star review on iTunes and share the episode with your friends, colleagues, anyone who needs to improve their brand experience and build a remarkable business. That's all for now. I leave you with the interview. I am Frank Canetti, and this is The Content Way.
Welcome to the Content Way podcast. Here you will learn how to create content to build a remarkable business. The place for online entrepreneurs that believe in a different way to build a business. And now, here is your host, Fran Canetti.
So, hi, Dino.
Hey, Fran. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, a pleasure. I need to thank you. And well, actually, you are the first guest in the show. So thank you very much for having the time to being here with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I feel honored. I really like this podcast.
Thank you.
So my name is Dino H Carter, and I am a brand expert. I've been in marketing for more than 20 years in many different facets. And I lived in Israel, England, and the USA. London used to be my home away from home. I remember the good old days of the 90s in London, which were totally different. And I had the pleasure to do PR for Levi's and merchandising and licensing for Viacom Europe, Alfa Romeo, and I now started a brand consultancy and focus on my real passion, which is to help people understand exactly what is branding, what is a brand, and how to use it to get more traction, sales, and understand that it's so much more than design. I try to help businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs find what holds them back and fix it. And usually it's something with the brand.
Yeah, it's a lot about the brand. I like your idea about branding as a central part of the whole marketing, where the different other pieces make sense.
Totally.
Yeah. So, what's about what you call the brand DNA?
So the brand DNA, I usually use brand DNA and core. So let's step a few steps back. A brand is like a person. Brand has to have a personality, and brand has to be very, very defined. Now, your business or product is not your brand. A brand is a feeling, an emotion. And because we are dealing with humans, everything is about emotions. We need to understand that the world of commerce has changed dramatically. And back in the 50s, 40s, and before that, people bought because they need something. If I need a refrigerator, I will go and get a refrigerator. If I need new shoes, I will go and buy new shoes. I mean, young people today don't understand what it means to have only one pair of shoes. And you will have them until you will not be able to walk anymore. And only then your parents will take you and go to buy new shoes. So the difference is huge because today people buy not because they need, but because they want. So the question is, why should they buy from you? They can buy from whoever it is. And it's important to understand that you're not special. You're selling something that other people sell. And with Amazon and eBay and all that, the competition is fierce. So you have to market on an emotional level. You have to build relationship. So everything is about emotions. So you need to build a brand that has a specific persona that is aligned with your customer base. And who is the brand? If we humanize it, actually have a human or a person that is the brand. And this will help you understand what is the core of the brand, what is the core DNA, and go through that. For instance, Red Bull. We know that Red Bull is not the best energy drink in that category, but for more than 20 years, it is the biggest brand in the category. And why is that? Not because they have tons of money. They didn't start with a lot of money, but from day one, they were very focused about their brand's DNA. And it's about excitement, extreme sport, and that's what they focus on, and that's what they communicate all over. If you see their videos, and it doesn't matter if you're surfing or doing motocross or any kind of extreme, crazy sports, that's all their content.
Yes, it is. And I like that idea as a brand, as a own personality. So I guess any brand, every person, you need to choose the right voice to talk and communicate with the right person. You need to choose your tone, how you do things. And in building that communication, you engage with your audience and your market and your future clients. So in that communication, how you advise companies to set up the right thing to communicate and find that link between what I want to sell, ultimately to sell, and people I want to connect with.
So totally true. And I'd like to add something to it, and it's values. Because think about it, as humans, each of us has different values and point of views, and each of us stands for something else. Think about that. You have, like, let's say 10 friends. Some of your friends you completely trust. Some of them you don't. And if you'll think about it, it's mainly based on their values. you will trust those friends that have more shared values than others. And in a recent research, 64% of consumers said that shared values are the main reason that they have trusted relationship with a brand. So this is something just like your voice and the tone and colors and everything in your personality is about who you are and what you stand for. So one of the first things I do with clients is a discovery and clarity session, which is kind of like going to the shrink for your business in a way. And it's actually like that. Until you have one of those sessions with me, it sounds weird, but then in the middle of the session, you feel that it's like going to the shrink. And the first thing I try to find is the why. Why is now a huge word in commerce. And the why is, why did you actually start a business? Why the business exists? And the best way to find this why is to really go back in your mind to the day that you said, that's the business I'm going to start. That's what I want to do. This is the product I'm going to invent. This is the app I'm going to write. Of course, there was something about I'm going to make money, but money is just the fuel. You had something deeper than that. You had a different reason for that. And it doesn't have to be something altruistic, but you need to find this reason because this is why you did that. This is why you were working so hard and to make it happen. And then you take this and build a whole world around this. For instance, I work with a grow light company, here in California, and now with you as well. The cannabis industry is just growing all over, and this is one of the pioneers with cannabis grow lights. And 2 years ago, we sat, and when competition started to be really, really problematic, and a lot of companies were offering cheap products, but because people are now sorting by price, we needed to show why you spend more money on our products. Now, the fact that we say our products are better, it doesn't mean anything. So I had to find the why. What is the reason? And I sat with the owner and the founder actually, and we found that story. We found that day when he was like growing in his garage himself, and he wanted to solve a problem that he had with electricity and how to get better yields. That is the core of the business, that moment. And that's the DNA. It's all about efficiency and getting better yields for less electricity bill or lower electricity bill. And we started to communicate this little story in different ways. And immediately the company saw different numbers. And I talk a lot about touch points, brand touch points, because now when you market your product or service, there are tons of touch points that you can touch your customers. Packaging, emails, newsletters, text messages, videos, social media, all of those are touch points. And I decided to take a touch point that everybody uses online, but most people don't utilize. So that's a great tip for your listeners that sell online. All those automated emails after you make a purchase, for instance, oh, thank you for your purchase. And then you get an email, your order has been shipped. Everything is very basic, laconic, short text that has no meaning. Everybody's sent the same email. I decided to take this story, and the first email you get after you made an order is a personal email, a full paragraph from the owner and founder of the company that you just bought from, telling the story why he started this company and how he got to design and manufacture this amazing product that you just bought.
Yeah, I like that.
And that is, I mean, only this automated, simple email changed the brand, changed the brand sentiment. People talked about it. So it's not only that you make your brand personal. The reason why is not about selling, is not about getting your money, is about helping you have better products.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of building. Actually, I use that a lot in my content strategy about building something around your unique story, telling something, because there is way too many people everywhere, competitors everywhere, but your story is something that is competitor proof. Nobody can stole you that, and that's your differentiation point. And today, with all that automatic online things like automatic email after buying something, all looks so robotic and not human. So adding that story and engaging with that person, with that customer, just right after they bought something, I think is great. I like the idea. And yes, in that building that story around the brand, I think you build as well experience around the purchase. It's not just going somewhere and buy something. You receive an email and then you receive a parcel in your front door a few days later. So you are delivering a whole experience.
Right. I really like packaging. And if we're talking about experience, which is huge, brand experience is a huge topic. We need much more than the time we have right now. But let's use packaging, for instance, for a few tips or a way of looking at it as part of creating the brand experience. So not only that your packaging is super, super, super important, and it needs to be some kind of a wow. It needs to be different. If you sell, I'll give you an example. I have a client that sells luxury products, and last week I saw the boxes, not the actual product packaging, but the boxes that they send their products to the retailers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a basic box. I was furious. That's why I'm inventing. I mean, it makes me so emotional, and I was like all over the place. It doesn't matter that the end user get a product from that retailer with awesome packaging that's aligned with a luxurious product. The retailer has to get luxury packaging as well. Everything has to be aligned. And a great thing is to use some kind of a surprise. Either insert something really fun or funny or cute or valuable into the package. So you get the product, but you get something else. You can hide something within the product that you will not see immediately. I don't know, something in the bottom of it, if it's a bottle or something. And try to make the packaging or the opening, the unboxing of it, some kind of ritual, something special. If you just open a box and immediately you see the product, try to put something that you need to tear to get to the product. So you open the box, you don't immediately see the product. You have to tear something or open another thing, and only then you get the product. Something really cool with Apple. Apple, as you know, their brand DNA is about design. So they invest tons of time and money in the aspects of design. And one of the things where the time and thought that they were putting into the iPhone box, it was more than a year just to design the box itself. And part of it was, when you open an iPhone, you open the top end of the box, it takes a little time. There's like a vacuum. And I think it was like 3 months or so, they were just testing different timing for the vacuum. 3 minutes to open to open the package was too fast. So they tried 7. And 7 seconds was too much. So at the end of the day, and you can check it, I think it's 4 seconds. It takes you 4 seconds to actually open the top, and emotionally, it blows you away as a person. And that's why you have such an emotional connection to Apple devices and iPhones. Everything is about the brain. So you always have to think and understand, how can I perform better when it comes to the brain?
Yeah, I was thinking before, just in Apple and the ritual around buying an Apple product, opening the box and everything, and as well, not just about packaging, following Apple's example. I was thinking in all that around the Apple events, when they start something, when they launch a new product, it's not just, well, here we have something. They prepare a huge event, streaming online, a lot of people going to the theater and so on. So it's a lot more things other than packaging you can do to build that experience and tell your story, right?
Totally. That was a huge part of the brand. The only thing with Apple is that they didn't understand something really important. Steve Jobs died. So you can't, and they just continued as if nothing happened, but you had to have some kind of change. And the only changes that they've done were with the product itself, and actually those changes deviated from the brand's DNA. For instance, when they changed the headphone socket from top to bottom, that's a huge mistake, and they did it because they needed to show change, and they think about usability and design. But from a user interface, it's a huge no-no. And actually, this started some of the decline that we see with Apple these days.
Yeah, and I like something you relayed before, the image, the personal brand, Steve Jobs with the corporate brand, and bringing that to solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. It's quite common, building your business, a small business, but as well developing your personal brand. So at some point, your personal brand is even higher than your brand, and how you calibrate that, how can you deal with that to build a brand just independent of you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that happens a lot. And so I was in the fashion business, and in the fashion business, there's a say that don't design it if you will not use it. If you're not wearing it, don't design it. And that's what most designers do. They design for themselves. The thing is that you shouldn't. You design for your customers, and your personal brand and your corporate brand are all about the customers. This is the most important thing. If there is one take I'd like your listeners to take from this podcast, is that it's not about them, it's not about their product, it's not about their company, it's about their customers. You have to be customer centric. Now, when you have a corporate brand that is so connected to the personal brand of the CEO, let's say, you have to work on both of them and see that they don't kill each other, or they don't align too much with each other, because people change and brand has to change as well. And a clash between the CEO, let's say, and his personal brand with the corporate brand can kill a business. It's really important to work on those two things and evolve both of them all the time, and see if your customers have changed. Do you want to grow with your customers or not? This is something that happens a lot with musicians and rock bands. They need to decide if they are going to grow with their audience or not. Neil Young decided that his audience is him, so he has changed with them. Blink 182 did the same thing. Beyonce didn't. Jay-Z didn't. And I'm not saying this is good and this is bad. It's just something that you have to think in advance and have it in your mind constantly.
Yeah, because ultimately, I think when you are facing a corporate brand, I think from the customer point of view, not with huge brands like Coca-Cola, so on, but when we are maybe dealing with some B2B relationship, I think it's just sometimes nice to see that behind that brand, there is human beings, there is people, not just a company that is going to deliver X service to me, but actually it's a CEO or a marketing guy or so on, but just people sharing the stories and what they really do behind the brand. And I think that's another great way to build a corporate brand, leveraging the little stories based in the employees.
That's a great point, and it's very smart. And actually, I don't want to talk about brand names. Those are really big ones, and they're not all global. But only 2 brands started using this to show the human side of the brand, use their own employees in their ad campaigns, for instance, talking about working there, what they like about working there, or they just show them. So it shows you that behind this huge corporation, there are people just like you and me. Another communication company that is huge in England, in the Super Bowl, they came up with a new campaign that just takes a customer. And the customer, which is just like you and me, he's not a model or anything like that, just talks of why he uses this specific carrier. And this brings so much humanity and emotions to a corporation that is a huge global corporation that we all know. And all of a sudden you can relate to it because, hey, the face behind this corporation is someone just like me. It's not some CEO in his ivory tower or whatever. And this point is really, really great. And it's weird that not a lot of companies do that. But if you have a small business, even show your workers, show your employees. When you work on your social media, by the way, posts with faces perform 3 times better than posts with no faces on them. And it brings us again to the telling a story. People want to see a story. People want to see a narrative, get a narrative. So if you show yourself or if you make a video going back to the first factory when you started everything 5 years ago, those are great posts. That's great content. If you show, I don't know, the retirement party for an employee that was with you for 55 years, this post will perform so much better than just showing your product.
Yeah, and going to the content marketing strategy, a lot of companies struggle to find topics and what to talk about and create new content. And very often the most valuable content that they have is the experience every employee have, because they are dealing every day with clients, with suppliers, with the business, with different experiences in other companies, with other colleagues. And this is in the starting point for most companies, or it should be when they are planning a content strategy, how to tell the story and educate their customers and the audience. And not many companies are using that and actually going to their team and asking, hey, what do you think about this? Or what you're talking with your clients? Or what the main problem that you find in our clients?
That's so true. It's funny. I recently launched a CBD wellness online shop, thehillswellness.com, and I sell there only very high quality premium CBD products, skincare, and all that. Nothing that will get you high. And one of the companies that I work with, a huge part of their marketing is their employees. On social media, on blogs, on videos, they show their employees and how their employees, why they like it, the product, and how they had some issue, let's say, with their skin and tried a CBD product and firsthand saw how amazing it works. And that's why they started, working in this company. And it's amazing because you can relate, you can actually listen and understand the reason why. And that little employee that just doing labeling started because the product actually works. He tried it on himself, and you see that it's just that the emotional connection and the reason why and the interest that it and craving that it manufactures this kind of content is so much better than just see the product. And so many companies, they struggle with what content should I use. I can't find subjects to write about because they try to sell. And it's really hard to sell and get new content constantly if you all you wanna is sell and get money. Forget about that and try to sell without selling, and then think about this whole world of the need, the problems that you solve. Who are your customers? what other things they think about or want information about that has something to do with the culture that they have or the culture that your product is part of. And don't talk about your product. You can have, and then you can have a list that it's ongoing.
In that sense, you were going back, you say something very interesting before, talking about companies, brands should be customer-centric. In that sense, I think many companies made that mistake, that selling that products, that the product that they want to sell rather than the product that their customers will like to buy. So in that gap between what they sell and what the clients want, how do you deal when a company have just clearly a wrong vision and they need to go back to customer centric? How do you correct, if we can say that?
Well, we can take Procter and Gamble. That's a great example. For years, and they're not the only huge corporation that it's happening to in the last couple of years, because as I said, everything is changing right now. And they were very product centric. Around and late last year, actually, they decided they're going to change everything in the marketing aspect of Procter and Gamble and start to be customer centric. And what usually happens, and that's a big problem with being big, everything takes time. Every time I had to work with a huge corporation, every decision takes a long time. And sometimes people are afraid to make the right step, or to make a step, or to make an adjustment, or and then only when sales really suffer, only then they say, okay, we have to stop it and think what we're doing wrong and how we can fix it. And Procter and Gamble changed their marketing and started thinking about what the customers want to use. How can we help them? They started using crowdfunding to check new products instead of going to, up until now, or there are still companies that do that. They go to an agency, they do a kind of a research, and the agency says 60% of the people in the research like product X. So that's not really working. That's not a good way to do that. Procter and Gamble understood that that's not the right way to check viability of new products. So they actually launch them, or soft launch them, or quasi launch them on crowdfunding platforms to see how many people will actually put the money for this product. They did it with Gillette for a really cool new product, and then it worked really, really well, and then they tried to push the envelope a little bit more, and they saw that the extra element they wanted to add to this product didn't work as well as the actual product on this crowdfunding platform. And they decided not to go with that, just to go with the original product. And that's how you do the right thing. That's how you actually understand if people are in that. That's how you get to be customer centric. One of the things that I really like to do, and everybody can do that nowadays, because we have a one-on-one line with our customers through phone, chat, Facebook chat, and all that. I like to actually ask people and customers why. If I can, I get people to actually call them and ask them, why did you buy it? What you like about the brand, about the product? What made you decide to buy our product and not the competition? I do it with emails, with phone calls, through messages. And when you get it and do it really, really fast, and it's very, very personal one-on-one, and not 20 people sit in the room, need to answer, and they always think, I should answer X, Y. It sounds better if I will say X or Y. But when it's just one-on-one or on Facebook Messenger and you ask the same questions and they're very, very authentic, you get great results. And then you understand, the reason why is not what I thought, because I can see that 60% of the people I asked bought our product because reason Z. So you can change your reason why. You get tons of information about that, and you say, okay, this element is something I need to communicate more in my marketing, and then you will see that you'll get better results, better sales, just because you asked.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It is that idea that companies they create a product and they try to sell that product to the market and find the customer who will buy that product, rather than going first to the market, understand the market, and then with that feedback and then that insight, build the right product that they will buy. Something like that.
Yeah. And that's amazing that we have this opportunity now, because that's the first time that we actually have this opportunity. Back in the days, you just had to launch it and see, throw the pasta to the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah, and it's so fast. You can be in touch with potential clients and just interaction in the moment. So the change and your decisions can be made so fast as well.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and another thing I see very often is kind of that impatient to sell something, and rather than companies get a step back and spend the time to invest the time actually to build a relationship with their potential clients and their market, even before they become a client. So is that impatience to sell now?
Oh yeah, and I can get it. Salespeople and CEOs and managers are all about the bottom line, and they're very impatient to make the sale. But you need to understand that customers' retention is so much better than customers' acquisition. When you improve your customer retention by only 1%, you increase your bottom line by around 7%. That means that if you will just take a little bit more time and initiative to get that client that already bought from you or already showed interest, and invest a little bit more to make him a return client, you will make so much more money in the long run, instead of just trying to find a new client and make a new sale.
Yeah, totally agree. And we're going to the end, and I would like if you can share with the audience a few tips, a few key questions that they can use to evaluate a quick evaluation about their branding and check how they are doing wrong, or if they need to change something. It's something quick, like a quick check that they can do.
So yeah, there's something that it's not a real test, but it's something that will help them understand where they stand. You need to ask yourself 3 questions. What am I selling? Who do I sell to? And why should they buy? And don't think about the product, because there's something else beyond the product that you sell. You can start with the product and see if it's align with the people you're trying to sell to, because sometimes you're trying to sell to the wrong people. And if you ask yourself this, this product is not for them, or the problem that I solve, they don't even have this problem. So I need to change this customer base to something different. And why should they buy is the biggest question of them all. And I call it the so what test. Mm-hmm. Every time I sit with customers or clients and I ask them, so why should your customers buy? And they answer with something that has to do with the product's features. For instance, because our product is more efficient. So what? Your competition says the same thing. Because it will help them clean their room better. So what? That's not a why. Everybody says that their product is cleaner or faster. And after you do this so what test, at the end you will get to something that is intangible, something that has nothing to do with the actual features of the product. No one buys a Tesla because of the features of the car. Nobody buys a Harley Davidson because anything that has to do with the product itself. There's another reason why they buy it. And that's what you need to communicate in your marketing. And if you don't do that, you will not be able to grow.
That's great and very useful. So I want to tell you thank you again for being here, Dino, and sharing all that knowledge with us. As a final step, I want to give you the opportunity to close the interview. And so tell us where the people can find you on online, internet, and they can contact with you if they want.
So first of all, I'd like to say really thank you for having me. It was really lots of fun and very interesting. And you can find me online on thebrandingla.com or myself on my LinkedIn, Dino H Carter. You can email and send questions. I would really like to help. On thebrandingla.com, you can actually check your brand score and download some free PDFs that will help you define your brand, define your customer, and so on.
Great. So thank you very much, and see you soon.
Thank you, and talk to you soon.
That was all for today. Hope you enjoy the interview. You get some great tips and strategies. And remember, if you enjoy the content, you can leave a 5-star review on iTunes and share the episode with anybody that you know could be interested in this. You can go now to the episode show notes. You have the link in the description. You will find there an extra material that Dino is sharing with you for free. Take care and see you soon.